Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina here with a new video for you. Welcome to the Season 4 premiere of What If Deku was given the 6th Pass power. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. In a nearby city, a typical day was transpiring. The blue skies were never ending, and the temperature was just good enough not to be suffocating. In a way, it looked like a perfect day until multiple gunshots were heard, and the heroes rushed to the scene to save those involved. 6 paths encompassing flame! Izuku stated as a flame protected the civilians behind him. Go, Lemillion! He then shouted, signaling his partner. Got it! Phantom Menace! Mirio had just used a special move to take out the 3 armed villains in front of him. It had been around a week since Deku had started to train under Sir Night-Eye, joining his hero agency in the form of an internship. There he met up with Mirio Togata once more. It surely had been quite a long time since they last met. Both young men were then made partners in the name of the law, patrolling the city to keep it safe from any villainy. Sir Night-Eye kept an eye on young Midoriya at all times, even when he wasn't there. He was usually at the intercom giving orders and checking on both of them. Little by little, he would mold Izuku Midoriya into the perfect user of One For All. It was the least he could do for All Might. Both boys were praised for their quick work, and without a moment to spare, they went off to continue their patrol.
Someone! Anyone! Please!
A girl in an alleyway cried out internally as she tried to run away from her captor. But as she ran out of the alleyways, she collided with the boy encompassed with a green aura, falling down to the floor right after. Are you hurt? I'm sorry about that, the boy said as he reached out to help her get up. In shock, the girl couldn't respond. The presence behind her made her terrified beyond belief.
Now, we don't want to cause problems for the heroes now, do we? Let's go back, Eri.
A man with a stylized mask entered the frame and commanded the girl to do as he pleased. That's the leader of the Shiei Hasaikai, the one that goes by the name Chisaki! Sir Night-Eye had informed them of this individual and the things he had done, which at this moment made Deku remain still awaiting what Mirio would do.
My apologies on behalf of my daughter, Hero. She gets carried away with her games sometimes and hurts herself. Such a troublemaker this one truly is.
Chisaki explained in a blatant lie, a fake smile he had made behind the mask. We should be the ones apologizing. That mask of yours is the one that the Shiei Hasaikai members use, right? You're super famous around these parts, Lemillion said, making up the conversation so Deku could recompose himself.
That's right, but don't pay much attention to the mask. I'm just sensitive to the dirt in the air.
He then added, not to arouse much attention.
Now that I think about it, this is the first time I see you two. Are you rookies? You're rather young to be full-fledged heroes.
You got that right. Just a couple of rookies doing their best. Fellow partner, get up! We must be prepared to face what the uncertain future brings, Mirio shouted as he grabbed Izuku by the arm to pull him up. Get it together, Mirio! Your acting is getting worse by the second, young Midoriya internally exclaimed.
Which agency are you affiliated with, if I may ask?
Chisaki further questioned. None at the moment. We're just students participating in field training. Now then, we must get going. We only got till noon to finish circling this block. Okay, Izuku quickly responded as he got ready to leave.
Please! Don't go!
Visible tears now came out of the girl's eyes as she clung to Izuku's cloak. In that instant, Deku began to feel anger seeping through him as he held her tightly against him. Your daughter is clearly frightened, he pointed out as he looked at the man dead in the eyes.
That's because I just scolded her,
Chisato pointed out as distaste began to adorn his face. Deku, come on! We can't go around suspecting people needlessly. Let's get going! Mirio desperately pushed forward as he noticed that if a fight began, then everything Sir had worked for would go to waste. But Deku didn't budge. The girl he was holding had many bandages on her limbs, and no sort of playing could explain those. And most concerning of all was how hard the girl was clutching at him, not wanting to let go. Those bandages she has don't look like the ones you get from playing.
She tends to fall a lot,
Chisaki said, starting to get tired of this kid's bullshit. She's shaking without saying a word, and that's not normal to me, Deku stated, getting a tighter grip on her.
Please don't impose your idea of normal on others' families.
Cut it out! Your prying is clearly annoying him. If he's on high alert, then it will be even harder to get things out of him. Just look the other way. What is it that you're doing with this girl? Midoriya further questioned with a serious glare which annoyed Chisaki beyond what he was ready to deal with. Overhaul then told them that the reason was quite personal and that if they wanted to hear it, then they could follow him deeper into the alley. The two boys followed, and the villain slowly began to take off his glove, a detail that little Eri took notice of immediately. He was going to kill them. Without a moment to think it through, the horned girl jumped off from Deku's grasp and went with Chisaki, grabbing his hand as if none of the prior things had happened. Deku couldn't believe this, and so he sparked up, ready to go after them. But Mirio stopped him. Don't chase them. If you didn't notice, he showed his killing intent. That's how we got her to follow along. If we chase too far, he'll become even harder to catch. So let's respect Sir's orders and go back. Mirio proposed, hoping that this would stop his partner from proceeding. A drop of regret befell the boy as he saw the girl disappear into the darkness. Perhaps he should have ignored Mirio and taken out Chisaki here and now if it meant saving that presumably abused girl. A few minutes later, they reported the situation to Sir Night-Eye, and they were told to stand down and return to the office. And so that day concluded with an unpleasant taste in their mouths. This video is sponsored by Grubhub. With more than 3,000 store locations, Grubhub offers on-demand convenience delivery across the country. You can search for restaurants by cuisine or location, quickly order food from the menu, and track your order from the app, all hassle-free and without any extra charges. Grubhub charges less than other food delivery services, allowing you to get the best value for your money. With Grubhub Plus, you can get free delivery prices for 10 meals every month on orders of $12 or more for only $9.99 a month. That's not all. You can use the code AFF25 to save 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more. This code is for a limited time. So again, get 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more now if you use the code AFF25. Check the link in the description. Thank you again to Grubhub for sponsoring this video. The next day, Izuku visited his master's grave, and he sat in front of it. I think I made a terrible mistake, All Might. I didn't save a girl in need of help from a Yakuza boss. I know that I should have, but Sir Night-Eye had prohibited me from doing something so reckless. Would it have been right for me to initiate a fight if it meant saving her? I feel like I failed as a hero. I wonder what you would have done. I miss you every day that passes. The boy cried as it began to rain around him. On that very night, it was shown that the state of affairs was gradually developing. A dispute between villain groups had broken out, and two villains with gigantification quirks were now ravaging through a city. One of the big three saw this, and she knew that this had to cease this very instant. We can't have that now, can we? Full charge! Output 30! Ring wave! She then shouted as her special wave move hit both villains head-on, knocking them out. Hey! Why are you even fighting? Is it because your quirks are the same? Bunch of weirdos! Nejire Hado of the Big Three exclaimed as she looked down at her adversaries. Now it's time, you two! She said with a smile as a combination attack was then executed by both Uraraka and Tsuyu. It had been named Meteor Bofrot Skies. A minute later, the three celebrated their win. It had been the first time since the internship started that they had the chance to try out a combination move. See, you did it! Were you nervous? The twirly-haired girl asked, her tone resembling a grade schooler more than a senior.
It was a bit hard for me, but we were able to do it just like you told us to.
Uraraka responded. She was so excited to be out on the field helping others while being with friends.
Ribbit, it went smooth enough to be considered surprisingly calm.
Froppy then added, Yes, that's the spirit! Come over here for a Nejire hug! The older girl announced just before she got a hold of them with a big Nejire hug, one of her rare moves. Uraraka and Tsuyu had taken their internship with the number 9 hero, also known as the dragon hero, Ryukyu. Nejire had gotten a feeling for those two, so she brought them to her, and now here we were. Ryukyu was so impressed with their showing that she mentioned that they could maybe become a part of a particular case, which left the two first-year girls intrigued to no end. Meanwhile, on the same night, Kirishima began his internship with Fat Gum, and he also had Tamaki of the Big Three, also known as Sun Eater, there as well. They were having a fun time until a fight started because of some villains, and they went over to deal with it. The apprehension was being successful until one of the goons pulled out a gun and shot Tamaki with it, regressing the senior with a teal-colored bullet. This enraged Kirishima, and he fought the guy who by then had used a drug to increase his quirk's output exponentially. The many blades that tried to pierce the redhead boy made him remember one of the last things that Bakugo told him before leaving. On the day of the attack on Kamino, when All Might fought All for One, the hero piece didn't break until the very end. And just like him, Kirishima, as the hero, Red Riot needed to become the very shield that could never be pierced, unbreakable. The boy then overwhelmed the villain and stopped him with the help of Fat Gum. Later, he got to see the effects that the bullet had on Sun Eater. By the time several days had passed, Red Riot, Uravity, and Froppy had become a trend online. They were super famous on the web now. But that wasn't all, as all of them plus Deku had been summoned to a hero meeting. On their way in, they saw the big three. Mirio and Nejire smiled, while Tamaki remained in the background looking at the wall. His regression had made him end up slightly shorter than Nejire. So ever since she became aware of it, she began to treat him like a little brother, which fueled a different part of his social anxiety even further. As they got in, they saw many pro heroes present, such as Rocklock, Fat Gum, Gran Torino, Ryukyu, and even Aizawa. Uraraka immediately, upon seeing him, went after her teacher, and he gave her a welcoming pat. Nejire had done something similar as she had gone to hug Ryukyu. A minute or so later, everyone was informed of what this meeting was about. With all the gathered intel supplied, the investigation had progressed considerably. The bullets that had been manufactured ever since or even prior to Uraraka's incident had all been analyzed, and inside of them, human blood cells had been found. The realization quickly hit both Izuku and Mirio as they realized that there was a possibility that Eri could have been the one cut open to make those bullets. This was further confirmed as Sir Night-Eye elaborated on the info gathered, stating that Chisaki was using his daughter's body to manufacture those bullets. The frustration between the two boys reached a breaking point, and they were unable to contain it. In a flash, both of them stood up, their chairs clashing against the floor as they stood tall.
This time around, we'll definitely rescue her!
Both boys stated, the objective of the operation had been set in stone. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. BD Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Melees, Adam Zagil, XAV Beto 3, Zill, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I'd also like to thank all of our YouTube members, Toya Costa, Rob the King, Sith Lord 906, CF2364 and Knuckles, Remy Tempest, Angel Warris, Donald C. Stewart, Bryant Greer, and Refik 135. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.